Chapter 1: The Crash. The night was quiet, the kind of stillness that made 17-year-old Jake Larson feel like the only person left in the world. He was hiking through the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, his flashlight cutting through the darkness as he searched for a good spot to set up his camera. Astrophotography was his passion, and the rumors of a meteor shower tonight had driven him miles from his small town. Then the sky exploded. A streak of blinding blue light tore through the atmosphere, followed by a deafening boom that shook the trees. Jake stumbled back, heart hammering. That wasn't a meteor. Meteors didn't change direction mid-fall. Against every instinct screaming at him to run, he sprinted toward the impact zone. Smoke curled through the trees, and as he pushed through the underbrush, he saw it. A sleek silver craft, half buried in the dirt, its surface shimmering like liquid metal. His breath caught. This wasn't from Earth. Then a weak groan. Jake's eyes snapped to the wreckage. A figure was slumped against a broken tree, their body flickering between transparency and solidity, as if reality couldn't decide what they were. Long silver hair, glowing faintly in the dark, covered most of their face. An alien. And they were hurt. Chapter 2: The Rescue. Jake hesitated for only a second before rushing forward. The alien, a girl he realized as he got closer, flinched when he touched her arm. Her skin was cool, almost electric under his fingers. I won't hurt you, he stammered, unsure if she understood. Her eyes snapped open, violet, pupilless and filled with pain. She gasped something in a language that sounded like wind chimes, then clutched her side, where a dark, iridescent substance seeped through her torn suit. Blood. Jake swallowed hard. Okay, I'm getting you out of here. He didn't know why he did it. Maybe it was the way her fingers trembled, or the fear in her otherworldly eyes. But he hauled her up, ignoring the strange weightlessness of her body, and half carried, half dragged her toward his truck. Behind them a distant hum filled the air, like drones but wrong. The girl stiffened, whispering a single, terrified word. Hunters. Chapter 3: The Promise. Jake's old farmhouse was empty. His dad was on a business trip, as usual. He laid the alien girl on his bed, hands shaking as he grabbed the first aid kit. I don't know what helps you, he admitted, holding up bandages. She reached out, her fingers brushing his wrist. A pulse of warmth spread through him, and suddenly, he understood her. Not her words, but her thoughts, images flooding his mind. Her name was Lyran. She was from a world light years away, a scout sent to study Earth. But something had followed her. Something that wanted her dead. Why? Jake whispered. Her voice, now clear in his mind, was soft but urgent. Because I saw their plans. They're coming for your world next. Before he could process that, a crash came from downstairs. The hunters had found them. Lyran gripped his arm, her eyes burning with intensity. You saved me. Now I must save you. A burst of light erupted from her palm, and the world dissolved into stars. Chapter 4: The Escape. When Jake's vision cleared, they were elsewhere. A hidden cave deep in the mountains, lit by bioluminescent plants. Lyran slumped against the wall, her energy spent. What was that? Jake gasped. A jump. Short-range teleportation, she replied weakly. But they'll track the energy signature. We don't have much time. Jake's mind raced. Aliens. Hunters. An invasion. It was too much. But looking at Lyran, her silver hair matted with alien blood, her violet eyes filled with determination, he knew he couldn't walk away. Tell me what to do. She smiled faintly. You already did it. You gave me a chance. Now I give you this. She pressed her palm to his chest. A searing heat spread through him, followed by a whisper in his mind, a promise. When the skies darken and the shadows rise, call my name. I will come. Then, with a final burst of light, she was gone, leaving Jake alone with a galaxy's worth of secrets and a vow that would change everything. Epilogue: The Wait. 3 months later, Jake stood on his roof, staring at the stars. The government had covered up the crash, calling it a weather balloon. But he knew the truth. And he knew they were coming. Somewhere out there Lyran was fighting. And when the time came, he'd hold her to her promise. Because the night the alien girl left, she didn't just save his life. She made him part of something bigger. The night the sky burned, Jake never stopped watching the stars. Every evening, he climbed onto the roof of his old farmhouse. His telescope trained on the constellations Lyran had once pointed out to him in those brief, shimmering moments before she vanished. 3 months had passed since that night. Since the crash, the hunters, the teleportation that defied every law of physics he knew. And then it happened. A storm of crimson light erupted across the horizon, so bright it turned night into day. Jake's heart lurched. This wasn't a meteor shower. This wasn't anything natural. The radio in his pocket crackled to life, spitting out emergency broadcasts. Unidentified objects entering the atmosphere. Military advising immediate evacuation. Repeat, this is not a drill. Jake's hands clenched. They're here. The hunters had come for Earth. Call. He didn't hesitate. Sprinting inside, Jake grabbed the only thing he had left of Lyran, a small silver disc she'd dropped in the cave. It hummed faintly when he touched it, as if responding to his pulse. When the skies darken and the shadows rise, call my name. He took a deep breath. Lyran! For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Like a blinding pillar of blue energy erupted in front of him, and when it faded, she stood there. Lyran. But she wasn't the wounded girl he'd saved. Clad in armor that gleamed like starlight. Her violet eyes burned with the intensity of a warrior. Behind her, the air rippled as dozens of figures materialized. Tall, silver-haired beings, armed with weapons Jake couldn't even comprehend. You called, she said, her voice both familiar and impossibly powerful. Jake exhaled. Yeah. I think we need that favor. A stand. The battle raged in the skies. Lyran's people, the Vaetheri, fought with a grace that made human warfare look clumsy. Ships that moved like living light clashed against the hunters' jagged, obsidian vessels. The ground shook. The air smelled of ozone and something electric, like the world itself was being rewritten. Jake stood beside Lyran on a hill overlooking the town, watching as the war unfolded above them. You knew this would happen, he said quietly. She nodded. I did. But I also knew you would be ready. He swallowed. I'm just a kid with a telescope. Lyran turned to him, her fingers brushing his wrist just like that first night. The warmth of her touch spread through him, carrying images. Visions of him standing beside her, not just now, but in battles yet to come. No, she whispered. You're the one who saved me. And that makes you more important than you know. Promise kept. By dawn, the hunters retreated. The Vaetheri had won for now. But Lyran's expression was grim as she gazed at the scorched sky. This was only the first wave, she said. They'll return. Jake clenched his fists. Then we'll be ready. She studied him, then reached into the folds of her armor. When she opened her palm, a small, pulsating crystal rested there, deep blue like a piece of the cosmos itself. Take this, she said. When the time comes, it will call me, no matter where I am. Jake took it, the crystal humming against his skin. You're leaving again. I must. But this isn't goodbye. She stepped back, her form beginning to glow. "It's a promise." And just like before, she vanished, leaving Jake standing beneath the breaking dawn, a crystal in his hand, and the unshakable certainty that this was only the beginning. The last line. As the first rays of sunlight touched the earth, Jake Larson smiled. Somewhere out there Lyran was fighting. And so was he.